I'm Brian Boucher. You're watching Nasty Knuckles.
You're listening to Nasty Knuckles, the Hockey Outlaws podcast, with your hosts, Derek Nasty Settlemyre and former Philadelphia Flyer enforcer Riley Cote, as they go behind the scenes with your favorite NHL players. Time to face off.
All right, welcome back. What's happening, Nasty?
What's up, Regarelia?
Looking pretty slick today.
You are?
No, you are.
Why?
I don't know. Looking
So are you. I like that hoodie.
nice and sharp.
You should get that hoodie. Get me one of those hoodies.
Yeah, I know a
Know
guy.
someone?
Yeah, I do.
Well, missed you again. Men's league. Not to mention yesterday, but we won't get into that. Baller said not to. So Debo's sleeping. Got shit kicked in our men's league game again.
Yeah.
You know,
Lack of defense, or
lack of you not coming, and along with a couple other guys playing with 7-8 players.
any brain farts?
Boys are about ready to trade you for a bag of pucks here if you don't.
Well, it's probably
you don't
more
show up.
valuable. Yeah, at least you get
At least
some
we
rubber.
have some good warm ups with more pucks. If we trade your rights, but it's
We're gonna move him to.
getting ridiculous. I heard Matt Elf was looking for a new player. Actually, they shit kicked that. They're the ones that beat us, I think. The Matt Elf. I think that's who it was that beat us, but we got shit kicked. It was bad.
Yeah.
Worst game I ever played.
Well, it
It
happens.
was bad. But
The best players have bad nights.
yeah, they do. They do. We just need some best players. That's what we need.
Yeah.
Couple Flyer games.
Yep.
Last night's game, close all the way against
Yeah.
Carolina. Our boy Tony D'Angelo back in town.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing hard, man. They're in every game.
Yeah.
That's all you can ask for.
Carolina's
But,
a good team too.
Carolina's
you gotta
good.
give them
Yeah,
credit.
they're starting to find their rhythm. It looks like they got Svechnikov back. We got to see Roddy and Tony, as I mentioned yesterday, and Tony was just saying that they're playing better. They're starting to kind of come together now. So, and they have a couple other guys that are hurt, I believe.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's nice to get down there. Our new little segment, quick hits. Had some fun with Patty Maroon and Ryan Hartman, and then that's a new thing we want everyone to check out.
Yeah.
It's fun doing that.
Yeah. We'll get down to pregame skate. Hopefully, every time
Yeah.
the Flyers are at home and they skate, have a couple words with a few of our friends.
You might have to grab a hold of a couple guys.
Yeah.
Just to set the tone early, like
Might
Patty
have-
Maroon,
might have to.
Big
Should've grabbed
Nick,
him.
D'Lo, Delorier did the other night.
Mm-hmm.
But just some tragic news. Adam Johnson, just awful. One of the worst things I've ever seen on the ice.
Yeah,
Not even
definitely.
sure how to describe it. There's all kinds of talk about maybe it was done purposely. I don't know what was going on there. I don't really want to say. I didn't play the game at the level you guys played at, so I guess I'll ask you. I mean, you ever seen anyone basically leave their feet like that without getting hit? I can't tell if his hip got hit, but it doesn't look like it. I don't know. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I obviously agree with you. Really tragic. I've never seen anything like this in hockey. I watched it several times to see if he was clipped to throw his, for that to propel his body the way it did. I don't see that. I don't think that happened. I've never seen a guy fly like that with the blades up. Like,
I don't know what you're thinking there.
yeah, it's geez. I mean, I was a reckless player, and there's just some things you just don't do. And it's, you've seen blades flip up with some hip checks over the boards, but it's generally the guy that's hitting that's creating that, right? But this hit was very unique, something I've never seen before, and yeah, I mean, there's rumblings around potentially, obviously they're investigating it.
Yeah.
And there could be a chance of getting charged. I mean, which is insane to think about. But the reality is like you do have weapons on the bottom of your feet, and was the intent to to kill the guy? Obviously not. There's no way he wakes up in the morning and premeditates that.
Right.
No question. However, in this world we live in, there is law and there is negligence. And I don't know. I don't even want to speculate, because I mean, my heart goes out to the families, the teams. I mean, even this Matt, the guy that's kind of responsible for it. But like, it's an incredible thing to see, and I hope to never ever see this again.
God.
Certainly pointing fingers and blaming isn't going to solve anything, but whether there is negligence potentially and there is a situation like this, like there is going to be an investigation. So we'll leave it at that. I think it's terrible for the game. It certainly gives it a black eye. I really hope that this thing can settle with some sort of acceptance. I don't know. You keep talking about it and being angry about it, and it'll sort itself out. But certainly real tragic.
Just awful thing to see. And our thoughts and prayers go out to him and his family and everyone involved, teams, and just something you don't want to see, witness. I mean, even the fans there. I mean,
oh my gosh, traumatized.
Just a horrible accident. So, again, our thoughts and prayers are about him and his family.
Yeah.
Anything positive?
Well, we got our good friend Brian Boucher on today.
Yes, we do.
Episode 132. I think we're ready to rock here now.
Are you going to ask him about his pats?
Well, we'll talk about them.
Okay.
Let's talk about
his style.
Oh, we love his style.
He did have good style.
Still got great style.
He does.
All right, Nast, here we go.
Let's go. Before we get to our interview, Riggs, I got a question for you.
What do you got, Nast?
Do you feel the chill in the air?
Do I?
I'm just asking because, as we know, the NHL is back, and it's time to hit the ice. And I'm talking about with DraftKings Sportsbook, getting new customers ready for puck drop with an epic offer. Whew. And this goes to you as well. Score $200 instantly in bonus bets when you bet just $5 on hockey. Now that's worth a Selly.
Oh.
And we know how you Sellied when you scored. You didn't. But I will Selly heavy.
Yes.
I'm looking at tonight's game with the Buffalo Sabres visiting the Philadelphia Flyers, and the Sabres are at minus 120 for this game. Bet the action on the ice with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app now and use code KNUCKLES. New customers can get $200 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on hockey rigs. That's code KNUCKLES, only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NEW YORK. That's HOPENY, or text HOPNY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort. Licensing partner, Golden Nugget Lake Charles. 21 plus, varies by jurisdiction. Void in ONT. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/hockey terms for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsibility gaming resources. NHL and the NHL Shield are registered trademarks of the National Hockey League. Copyrights of the NHL 2023, all rights reserved.
Welcome back. I'm Riley Cote.
And I'm Derek Settlemyre. This week, we're super happy to have friend of the show, friend of ours, former first-round draft pick for the Philadelphia Flyers, fan favorite, back in the saddle again, Mr. Brian Boucher. What's up, Boo?
What's up, guys? I don't know about fan favorite, but...
Oh, yeah.
The thing is, you couldn't boo me, because if you booed me, it sounded like you were cheering for
That's
me.
right.
That's
Pumping it up.
You know?
And I was fortunate enough to have you when you first were a rookie, and we've talked about that before. You two have been teammates, but...
Stole my number?
Stole his number.
I'd still owe you a dinner.
It was a steal. It was a gracious handoff.
It worked out well. It worked out well.
32 looked better on you anyway.
I agree. I like 32.
Yeah. Big cheese.
Were there no really tough 33s in Flyer history, was there? I mean,
That's
aside
actually
from
a good
you,
question.
like 32, Chief, like that
Yeah,
was.
Chief was 32.
Murray
Danny
Crave.
Lacroix was 32.
Danny Lacroix,
right,
yeah.
Yeah, a few guys.
So I think that was more
I
appropriate.
agree.
Yeah, Boosh actually came to me and said, I would let it, but I think he'll look better than 32, so I'll just take 33.
I like where your head's at.
Yeah, it was good. It worked out well. Boosh, congratulations on your new gig.
Yeah.
New color man for the Philadelphia Flyers. Do a
Yeah,
great job.
thank
You've
you.
always done a great job ever since you started. I think you were made to do a job like this because you to me, right away, you were great. But how's it going?
It's awesome. I mean, honestly, when Jonesy, got the president's job, I got really fortunate two ways. I mean, number one, it created an opening for the Flyers, so that was great. And then because of I was doing national with ESPN, and those games are heavy Tuesday, Thursday, and the Flyers play heavy Tuesday, Thursday. Like I if I wanted to do that Flyers job, I had to find a way to, not do Tuesday, Thursday, but I was going to miss a lot of Flyer games. So and then when Jonesy leaving TNT, it worked out that I kind of worked it out where I could go to TNT as well. So I mean, I got really lucky in two spots to make it work, because I think if I stayed at ESPN, I probably was only going to be able to do maybe 40 Flyer games, and now I'm hoping that I can do 60 plus.
Oh, good.
And there are 13 that are on national between ESPN and TNT, so it's not like the Flyers do 82 or NBC Sports Philly does 82 of the Flyer games. We only do 69 or so. So I'm thrilled. I consider this place home. I left for 2 years, went home to Rhode Island, where my wife and I are from, Melissa, and it was good. But this is where I raised my kids. This is where I identify with, and it's great to be back.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, happy to have you back.
Yeah,
for
thanks.
sure, man. What are your thoughts so far? I mean, I know we're early in the season. Everybody gets all excited, but 500 right now.
Yeah.
Is that where you saw the team being, maybe, or?
I think a lot of people think this Flyer team, they just assume that they're going to be bad, right? But I mean, with Atkinson and Couturier back, those are two really good players.
Yeah.
And if they stay healthy, I mean, you got yourself a number one center, and you got a guy that can score 30 plus goals, right? So those are two huge holes that weren't in the lineup last year. There's some unknown, but I think this team, they really enjoy being around one another. There's an energy. There's an energy to this group that I think they're embracing the underdog mentality. They know that everybody's picking them to finish, in the basement, and they're motivated. And I think they've been competitive in all the games except for maybe the Ottawa game.
Yeah,
that afternoon game 2. And you guys know how it is. Those afternoon games are hard to adjust to sometimes.
Ottawa too. You're not putting Ottawa down, but it's just a
I know.
tough start
Don't do
all
that.
the
My
time.
kid's drafted by me.
Yeah, sorry.
Can't
Yeah,
be-
well, it's getting better. No, I mean for the visiting team,
Yeah.
but now it's actually they're an exciting team now.
Yeah.
I mean they're getting better and better every year, obviously.
Yeah. No, yeah. So for the Flyers, a good start. 500. I think that's if you started the season and said, hey, if they're 500, 8-10 games in, you'd take that.
Right.
Last night was a tough one because they battled back in that game, and a costly mistake at the end, they lose the game, and that's part of the growing pains you got to go through. Good teams and teams with experience tend not to make those mistakes late in games, and for the Flyers, I think just because they are young and they're learning, and they will make mistakes, and unfortunately last night it bit them.
Yeah, they're playing really hard.
Yep.
The games we've been to, there was talk, well, these teams didn't show up. I mean, you got to give the Flyers credit too, because they've been playing really hard, and they're harder to play against for sure. Like you said, they seem like a really tight group. Talking to some of the guys, it's been fun to watch so far for me.
Some guys have been asked to elevate their games, right? Like Sanheim's one of those guys.
Yep.
I think he lived in the shadows before, maybe with Provorov here, he was kind of second fiddle, and then the whole trade talk in the off season, I'm sure that probably weighed on him, what, you guys don't want me, or you want to cast me aside. So I think he's coming with a chip on his shoulder. I think they challenged him. He's coming stronger. He's playing his offside, which is an adjustment, but he seems comfortable doing it.
Yeah.
And I think for the most part, he's been good. When you play 25 plus minutes, it's not all going to be great. There's going to be mistakes made. You got to live with it. But I really like the way he's played. I think he's done a good job of getting that defense. I wouldn't say quite settled, because they're missing two pieces in Ristolainen and Stahl as well. But between him and York's continued development and Walker coming in being a really pleasant surprise, this defense is better than I think a lot of people expected.
Yeah, I agree. Any of these young guys that you're enjoying watching?
Brink's been probably the brightest spot, I think, up front, and I don't think a lot of people figured that he would be on this team at this time of year, but had a great camp. You can see he's got some offensive instincts. Once he gets over the blue line, and particularly on the power play, he seems to make plays and has vision. He's been good. I think Farabee is healthy, looks like a different player, a little bit more confident. He's been good. Cates, I think, is just one of those, like, he's reliable. I know there was a mistake made last night on one of the goals that failed clear, but for the most part, he's a guy that gives you an honest effort. And I think more offense out of him, I think, would be welcome, because I think he's such a conscientious defensive player that he focuses on that. But if he can get to the offensive side, that'll be good. I think the big one for me that I'm still waiting on, two guys, is Frost and Forster. To me, Frost, a little bit of adversity, right? Gets a 2-year deal, comes in, and maybe doesn't get to the start that he wanted to. I thought he had a good camp too. I mean, and sits 6 games, and now I want to see how he responds to it, because I think that's where you see what somebody's really made of when they're kind of benched, and now they got to come back and see if they've got that fight. And I thought as the game went on last night, he started to make plays, made a couple of beautiful feeds. He looked a lot more comfortable in the second half of that game, so that's a positive sign. And Forster, big guy, can skate, can shoot it. I think he's pressing a little bit. He wants to score. I think he identifies as a guy that can score. He hasn't scored yet, but he's a guy that I'm intrigued by just because he's 6'2", right? Can rip it. Is there a little more physicality in his game? I wonder. But if he's one of those big wingers that could, if he can start ripping the puck and get some confidence, that's another piece up front that would be great. Yeah,
no question. On the Morgan Frost piece, you mentioned like how he responds is going to be the key piece here. Do you think it was warranted to sit him for 5 or 6 games? I think 6 games in a row.
Well, I mean, did he deserve it? He didn't play that poorly. I mean, it was really, the first game was so in Columbus, and the second game in Ottawa, I think everybody played flat. He had one good chance in that Ottawa game where he cut to the middle and he got it off, and the goalie made I think it was Forsberg that played that day, made a glove save on him. But I think where the Flyers are at right now is that there's competition for spots, and that's a good thing. And then I think, had the next game not gone so well for the Flyers, and maybe somebody else played, he probably would have got back in. And I think once they scratched him, I think it was just that the other guys started to play well, and that's why he couldn't get back in. And that can be difficult. I mean, we've all been there, right? You're frustrated, and now I think your mind has got to be something where you make sure you stay engaged.
You have to.
Of course you're going to be pissed off. Every coach expects that. They want you to be pissed off. But you can't sulk. You got to put your work in, and you got to make sure mentally you stay in it, right? Because I know my biggest regrets when I played, sometimes when I've had some tough times, I would, you get pissed off, you do sulk a little bit, you have a pity party, and then sometimes when I found if I just disengaged, and it was subconsciously just a little bit, then I get an opportunity, and I wasn't ready. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then I played poorly. And then the coach looks at me and is like, well, what the hell, Boosh? You're over here bitching and moaning or whatnot, and now you get a chance. And I'm like, you're right. It was on me. So it's important when you get scratched that you stay engaged, that you can have a pity party immediately, but then you got to move on. You got to put your work in. You got to make sure that you stay sharp mentally, because when you do get an opportunity, they're not going to wait around 10 games for you to get going. Like you got, and last night I thought for Frost, the first half of the game kind of was just, I think the speed of that game was a little much for the first 15 minutes of the game.
Yeah, they're a fast team.
Carolina's checks, fast, they throw pucks at the net, and then they kind of got in. Then they got settled in. They got their feet grounded. And I thought Frost played well in the second half of that game. Which is good.
Yeah, for sure, exactly what he needs to do.
Now let's see how he does. There's going to be a little bit of runway for him. Now, okay, so the second half of that game was good. Now let's see how you build off of that. Right. They got Buffalo on Wednesday. 2 games against Buffalo. I think those are games where he can maybe suits his style and he can get going. Let's see if he can respond well. And if he does, shows a lot about your character.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the test, right? That's what they're looking for. So
that's it.
I would like to think he responds. And
me too. He's a talented,
he is.
A talented player. Like in the preseason, I thought he generated offense. He made plays. Like last night, he made a couple of really nice feeds.
Yeah.
And if like the one on the power play where he sauced it over 2 sticks to Forster,
Yep.
if Forster buries that, there you go. There's a point. And now everybody's saying, "Oh, he had a point tonight." In a response, well, he had some chances. He made some plays.
Yeah, for sure he did. I was interested to get your thoughts on Wade Allison. That one for us, him getting sit down. You're around it way more than we are. But were you shocked? I don't want to say shocked, but were you surprised with him being sit down?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, but look at who they signed in the summer, right? I mean, they bring in Hathaway.
Yep.
Yeah, right.
True.
So it was clear what they did when they brought in Paling and they brought in Hathaway. There was a fourth line identity line there.
Yes.
So now you got to play in the top 9,
Yeah.
and now there's competition for spots in the top 9.
Yep.
And if Forster's a guy that who dealt with injuries before, they feel deserves an opportunity, well, there you go. There's your competition. And then Brink comes in and does what he did in the preseason. And you can just see when the puck's on his stick, something's going to happen.
Yeah.
You can't deny it. So maybe Allison didn't do anything necessarily wrong,
right?
But there's that competition again.
Yeah.
And that's where teams start to get better, when you have that internal fight for spots. And you guys know, I mean, this game it can be a cruel business at times because you're dealing with people and feelings, but you have to find a way to separate the person to results.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you can do that and you make it black and white on what you expect from players result-wise, and make it about who's doing the job, and then obviously the personal side and the feelings, that's where it gets difficult. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you have to bring bad news sometimes to people, and you just hate doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And just like the Frosty thing, you just got to go down there, have a good attitude, and perform. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the bottom line. You can't be feeling sorry for yourself. And
Ball's in his court.
that's it.
Yeah.
And look, I mean, there's going to be guys that get nicked up, right? You want to make sure that you're the guy getting called back up.
Yeah.
And also, too, I think it's important for him. It's kind of a bit of an eye opener when you clear waivers.
Yeah.
That there were 31 teams that had a crack at you and nobody did. So look in the mirror and say, what can I do to become more appealing to maybe some other organizations around? If that ever ends up being the case, you're not only playing for a call up to the Flyers, but for your career, you want to be appealing to other teams as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, something tells me he'll figure it out down there. Just another one of those.
Yeah, I hope so.
Little bumps in the road, whatever you want to call it, a little adversity.
Yeah, I mean, but you just wonder, now where they're at, the Flyers in their progression of development.
Yeah,
they just got more competition.
That's right.
So you gotta get to work and try and be that guy that makes sure that you're in the lineup.
Yeah,
which is a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah. HelloFresh does all the shopping and meal planning for you. Ingredients arrive at your doorstep pre-portioned and ready to cook, along with pictured step-by-step recipe cards. How easy is that? Even though the fall can feel jam-packed, HelloFresh makes whipping up a home-cooked dinner actually doable with quick and easy options, including their 15-minute meals. That's less time than it takes to get delivery. And with everything pre-portioned and delivered right to your door every week, it really is a no-brainer. Nast, what do you think?
Well, I think that is totally true because I'm following these recipes and it literally has pictures, instructions, and I look like a chef.
And you
I
can't
should start
screw it
my
up.
own show. And you can't screw it up. I just want to yell at people. I want Debo in there so I can yell at him and say, that's not right. Like with my show, my own chef show, Nasty Knuckles Chef Show with Nasty. It's unreal. It's easy. I'm telling you, we got to start it because I'm like some magician chef in there now.
Oh my gosh.
It's awesome. If I'm cooking and it's good, I'm getting help, and HelloFresh is doing it.
Oh my gosh, solid. Go to HelloFresh.com/50knuckles and use code 50knuckles for 50% off plus free shipping. That is HelloFresh.com/50knuckles and use code 50knuckles for 50% off plus free shipping. How about across the league? Who else are you liking? Obviously, Boston, Vegas. I mean,
Boston surprises me.
Yeah, I know.
Man.
What is
Monty,
Monty
our
doing?
boy. I know.
Wow. I mean, last year where they finished in the end, which was a first round loss, to me that was like appropriate. I was like, if you asked me at the start of the season where would Boston finish at the end of the season, I'd say, okay, they just get into the playoffs, first round exit. And it's no slight against Monty.
Right.
It's no slight against the Bruins, because I still think they were a good team, worthy of getting in the playoffs. But I think a first round exit, I'd say, yeah, they'd probably be like a 7-8 wild card team and then lose in the first round. Well, they go and set an NHL record. Yeah. So now everybody's like recalibrating what they think of this team, and then they lose in the first round because, I think, maybe some guys were nicked up and they got bullied around a little bit.
Yeah, they did.
Right? Yeah. By the Panthers. Now you think the loss of Krejci and Bergeron is going to affect their club, and turns out their back end is pretty stout. Their goaltending is for real. Mm-hmm. And the emergence of a young kid in Matthew Poitras, who's come in and done a nice job. Nice find. Good job by the scouting.
Yeah, right.
Second round pick, right? He got points in the OHL, but sometimes that can be, you wonder what a player's going to be. Because I've watched some junior hockey, and some of these games and teams that players play on, it's all offense. So you wonder if it translates in the NHL, right? Like, how is this something like when somebody gets 100 points in junior, like, boy, is that really going to be? But the reality is, if the guy can make plays and has the confidence and is given the rope to try and make plays, I mean, turns out that it is translatable. And this Poitras's done a really nice job. He's not going back to junior at all. Mm-hmm. And I don't even think he would play World Juniors. He's a 19-year-old. Even if if Canada wanted him for World Juniors at Christmas time, the Bruins can't give him up. He's been that good for them.
Yeah,
right.
And it kind of, he might be their most talented center that they have.
Yeah.
Coyle's a nice third-line center to me. Zaka, he's probably a 2, but Poitras turns out to be, if you're looking at pure talent, he probably lacks strength and lacks experience, but as far as talent's concerned, he might be their best center, which is crazy.
It's crazy. Right? I just was amazed that I just laughed because when we had a couple months ago, we had our 25th anniversary, and Monty's there, and I was kind of busting his chops. I was like, it'll be a little different there, Monty, without the old Cappy Patrice, and losing Krejci, but I was telling them, Boosh, when we went to the trainers meetings with Tovey, one of our sponsors, Hockey Stick company, and I saw the boys from Boston, the equipment guys, and they're like, dude, he's been in there training like he's going to play. So they were like, we don't know. Yeah. So I'm like, well, maybe he's going to come back. Maybe he waits a little bit and comes back, but obviously not now. But what a start, Monty.
And you know what? I think, for Monty, he probably felt like the pressure was on.
Yeah.
So these first 10 games were important.
Yeah.
And their schedule was in their favor too. Like, look at the teams that they were playing.
Right.
Up until maybe last night they played Florida. I think before that, maybe their only real toughest opponent was like LA.
Okay.
Although it turns out Anaheim's a lot tougher to play against this year than they were in the past, but they played Chicago twice. I'd have to go back, but it was not a strong schedule.
It's not a strong schedule to start.
But even with that, though, without a strong schedule, say you come out stumbling and you lose to those teams. Yeah. Now the heat really cranks up. So good for Monty, good start. I think now they can kind of settle in, and they're not going to continue this pace, but they're going to be a team that gets in. I mean, that first 10 games set the tone, and they got 2 very, very good goalies. Which helps. A lot of teams don't have that.
I know.
Yeah.
This is already open.
No, so I did. I hope it's clean. Yeah, I did it by accident because I had
courtesy open.
If I pass out here,
he goes down, boys. I did it accidentally when I came in. I
grabbed him in the toilet.
Yeah. Oh. He refills. Not to a goalie, he would never do that, buddy.
I can't share that story. But.
Speaking of that weekend, though, it was great. Quickly. To see a lot of guys haven't seen in so long, man. It was Flyers, actually. Danny Briere, I think I told you guys, picked up dinner the second night. I'm not sure if you were there the second night. You had to bounce, But the first night, it was just cool seeing Craig Darby, old Snoop Darby. I haven't seen. I said, when did I see you? He goes, might have been the day I walked out of there. I said, it's insane. And the Hugh Balls, Jamie Heward looks great.
He looks great.
And I didn't realize he was working with Johnny Stevens in Vegas.
He's in Vegas.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, it's really cool, man. But it was a great weekend, and Coatsy did a great job setting it all up, and
that was fun. I mean, unfortunately, not everybody could be there, but for the it was a good showing.
Yeah, it was.
Feels like, man, time flies, huh? It went by like that, 25 years.
And I was
hard to believe it.
Honestly, I feel like I still feel like a kid. Like I still feel like when
I know
training camp rolls around, it was like my first training camp, and you're like, wow, that was so much fun, man. I mean, we played in Philly in the minors, sold out crowds.
Yep.
It was like a dream
Set
come
a
true,
record that year
and our team was so good. Like we were the Broad Street Bullies, reincarnated. We had guys that could score. We had awesome offensive players in Whitey, Darbs, Monty, Maniluk.
Yeah.
And so we would outscore teams, and then if we by chance just were off that night, we'd beat people up. Well, I didn't, but Frankie and Diamond Dave McIsaac and man,
Staples. Yeah.
Was Steve McLaren on that team?
No, the next year he was.
He came in, and it was. We had the one time we had him, and I think we had him and Frankie at the same time for a while.
Yeah.
That second year, but yeah, it was just a good group of guys. It was so fun to see everyone, and man, it was just fun.
We had a lot of fun with that group.
Yeah, too. And I was telling a lot of my friends, I'm like, we started a team group chat with that team.
Oh yeah,
and it's like. Nothing ever changed.
I know.
It's like just the chirps. Yeah. I mean, it's every day too. It's still going.
Sometimes you gotta mute the conversation. Sometimes I'm like, okay,
it gets a little hairy.
Well, Frank,
not only that, it's like you'll get like one at 1 a.m. It's
come on, boys.
Trying to sleep now.
Just getting home.
Fucking Frankie's buzz is still shaved. He's got the ponytail, ready to kill somebody.
He looks the same.
He does. He
looks
really
the
does.
exact same. It looks like he hasn't aged. He looked like he was probably 39 back then, and he stayed at 39.
It's impressive.
My God.
Yeah, it is. I don't know what he's doing.
His brother came down, and he's huge. Worm. I call him the Worm because Dennis Rodman, I gave him that. Right. He was like lanky and tall when he was a kid. But Chris, he was in town. But anyway, it was a great time.
Any other shenanigans going on there?
It wasn't nothing crazy really happened. We had Peter Luco, Mr. Luco came.
Right.
It was fun. It was fun. It was a good time.
Were you overserved, Nest?
Might have been.
Yeah,
might have been.
It happens.
It does.
Clear.
Yeah. Clear up.
Yeah, there was. I'm trying to think who really. Darbs was. Yeah. Darbs enjoyed himself.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Snoop Darby Darb.
Yeah. That was fun.
Manny even came down from the Peg. They brought their motorcycles down. Yeah, he stayed a few extra days.
That's a haul.
But yeah, I know.
Bike down from the Peg?
Well, they trailered him.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, wow. That's
trailered him. That's a long way.
He didn't play golf, though, right? Because he got a hip problem or something?
Yeah, he came out to the course, unfortunately, and was following our crew, and then he saw Huggy take 4 swings and missed the ball every time.
And that's enough of that.
And that was it. Huggy retired.
Yeah?
You might beat Huggy.
Think so?
It maybe. Yeah, you would.
Seems like he's got a strong short game.
I'm like, Snugs, you cannot keep digging these.
Just shredding it out.
Yeah, but it was awesome. We had a good time anyway. It was fun.
That was a fun group.
Yeah. Really good. Really.
Because when I came back, my second time to the Flyers, and I played for Chief in the minors, and it was at Spectrum again. What I was thinking in my head was like, oh my God, it's going to be just like that.
Yeah.
And it turns out we flew nowhere.
Yeah.
So back then we used to fly to Kentucky and Cincinnati, and it was like first class. Now we weren't flying first class, but like for the minors, it was
really
stay
nice.
overnight. Yeah. We enjoyed ourselves. And then this one was like bus everywhere. I said to Chief one time, I said, hey, can we stop and get beers? And he's like, no. I'm like, what? I'm like,
whoa, what's happening here?
Really? Yeah, totally different.
Well, he had his case under the seat.
Oh, he was fine.
Better for the boys.
But it was like a totally different operation, and I was like, oh my God. So I was like, I got to get back to the NHL.
This can't last long.
Yeah, right?
This can't last long.
No flying, and it was totally different. And we weren't tough. We weren't tough like that team.
Yeah, it's changed a little bit.
Yeah.
I was noticing this morning, of course, I've seen highlights and everything. I haven't watched the game, but your old team, the San Jose Sharks, having a real tough time. Mikey better call Devon.
I need the break here. Not here.
Nabby, yeah. Oh, my God.
Cole Devon. He'd always tell Mikey Aldrich, things weren't going. You need to call Devon.
I call Devon.
You need to call Devon.
And he'd say, and he'd talk about the break in his glove. It needs to be here, not here. And I think Mikey was like, that's the same spot.
Yeah.
Same spot.
It's off by like a half a centimeter. You know what I mean? Goalies are tough, man.
Yeah,
you know,
man,
right?
you guys are.
The minute we have a bad game or a bad stretch, it's like, oh, you know who I saw in Detroit? Eagle. Oh, is it Ross?
Yeah, you saw
I
Ross?
saw Ross.
No way.
I hadn't seen him, and we laughed because I remember I was playing like absolute dog shit in Phoenix, just struggling, and he happened to be at the rink, and he goes, "Hey, Boosh," he goes, "You know, I can make a gear." I said, "Yeah." I go, "How quick?" He goes, "Get it to you in a week." I said, "Done." And he made me the gear because I was struggling so bad. I just was searching for something.
Yeah.
Desperate.
Yeah.
In 1 week, he got me those pads that Chico was wearing.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Which
yeah.
I was like, I'm never wearing those things. Like, those things they're horrendous. I mean, they're atrocious. You know what I mean?
She's talking about Ashley.
But he's like, I can make it. He goes, I can make it in 1 week. It was there in 1 week, and I was like, perfect. And they were catering to me, like, trying, and I actually started to play well in them, but I hadn't seen him in forever. But that just goes to show you, like, goalies, right?
Yeah.
The minute you start
You
playing
change.
like crap, you're like, oh my God, I'll change anything. We'll sell our soul to the devil. You know?
We're the ugliest pads in the league. Just to get going.
Just to save your career.
Someone asked, we have this thing since one of our sponsors, Clear Rum, and we have Clear Rum questions, and they asked about one of my favorite setups. And I said, I don't normally like black pads, but with the black jerseys the Flyers have, they still wear them. We wore those in Pittsburgh, and Nuvi had a really great setup. They were black and orange, white, orange stripe, and then he had the black mask with the orange. It just looked, I thought he looked tight. It looked really good. Baller posted all that. And then just out of the blue, he goes, what about Boosh's gear? He says, what about Boosh's setup?
Not really.
And I was like, well, I mean, it's rookie year. Like, what are we talking?
There's like a million different
pads.
setups I had because I played so bad. I had to get new gear all the time.
He starts.
I didn't have good.
He starts dying. Like, hang on.
You didn't like Boucher's setup when he first came in the league?
Wow. I mean, I guess it wasn't as advanced as now. They were white, black, and orange.
They were the circle.
So the circle. The Vaughn.
Yeah.
Nothing out of the ordinary, bro. Look at him.
He's like killing me.
I don't know if he was laughing at your
Killing me. I was laughing at you, your response. Well, yeah.
He's trying to be diplomatic about it.
Talking about. He just out of nowhere goes, "What about Boosh?" I said, "His first year." I'm like,
It wasn't good. Yeah.
it wasn't bad though.
The only thing
You
that-
had Louisville. Remember, you had Louisville stuff
When
one
I
time.
came out of junior.
Yeah, when you came out of junior, I remember you having
I
that.
tried to use that, but then I played like shit and got rid of that. Vaughn saved the day for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I bailed on that, and I went to Heaton, CCM.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Were they throwing you a little side change there too, or just
Back then
just
they were?
the gear?
I thought they did back
Oh
then.
man,
I didn't get anything. I got like a, I don't know.
free T-shirt.
Yeah, a letter that said thanks for using our stuff. A poster.
You know, Wawa
I think I
gift
got a
card?
poster of Jose Theodore or something like that. I hung it in my room.
On a motorcycle.
Yeah. I like the black cage though.
Yeah.
To me, that was my thing. I had to have a black cage, and I see Sam Erison. He's got that, and he's wearing 33. So I got a real soft spot for him. I'm like, what? I kind of dig his cage and number. Really want to see him do well.
Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah. I feel bad for him because he kind of got, like these 2 games.
Yeah.
Haven't.
It's tough.
Yeah, it is, man. And what have your thoughts on Carter's play so
Great.
far? He's played really well, eh?
Looks dialed in.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks really good. But you can't play him every night, right?
Right.
So you're going to want to make sure that you don't overdo it because you want to make sure that, 1, he stays, fresh, and then 2, you got to get the other guy in because you sit too long. That's the thing that I don't think a lot of people realize, and you know this, you guys know this. There are days where we're not playing games, but there are off days that are supposed to be practice days, and then all of a sudden, last minute, they cancel practice.
Yes.
Well, the guy that suffers is the extra guy that needs a practice and the goalie.
Mm-hmm.
The extra goalie that has to get reps, and it's one thing to do drills with your goalie coach, they're stationary, but you need like the rushes and 2-on-1s and 3-on-2s and point shots. And yeah, you're not going to get a ton of traffic because guys aren't going to want to like, bury one at somebody's ankle. But, those things are where you lose your sharpness. And that's the real battle for backup goalies, is to find that work where you can stay sharp or maybe not need the work in order to stay sharp and give your team a quality start. The next one's a big one for Ersson.
Yeah.
He's got to, I'm not saying he's got to win, but it's got to be one of those that it gives real confidence in himself to know that, hey, I got this thing back on track. And all it takes is one game. Have a great game and get it back on the rails.
And carrying, I was funny, we were over at the Minnesota's morning skate last week. I was talking to them because Flyers are carrying 3 goalies right now. As an equipment guy, you hate that. And not that you hate the guy, it's just, for some reason, it's like having 5 extra players with 3 goalies. Because you're always, and my point being, like, Felix, like, what's he getting to do? Is he
sucks.
It's got to suck for him because he can't play a game. He can't. Obviously he's practicing, but
the only thing that's good is the 1st and 15th of the month.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel bad for him though. Like,
and the meals around the rink.
It's a tough thing. Were
charter
Boosh,
flights,
exactly.
Are they worried about losing him? Is that why he?
Maybe it must be. I don't know the real answer to that question. I think with Tampa, with the situation they were in with Vasilevsky to start the year, so it made sense, right?
Yes.
I think there were several teams that were afraid, like in Montreal, Caden Primo, same situation. I think he's at the point in his career where he has to clear waivers, good goalie. I think other teams would take a chance on somebody. So maybe just the fear of losing an asset. And truthfully, I think in the league today, you need more than 2 goalies in your organization because guys get nicked up. It seems like guys are injured more than they ever were. Yeah. Especially at the goalie position. I feel like it's because the games are harder now. Like the chances, the skill level of these forwards, like it's more taxing on the goalies today than it was when I played and even before I played. It's what I feel. I could be wrong. I don't have like statistical data to go off of. Yeah. But the day of like Marty Brodeur playing 70, not happening. And even Vasilevsky, who probably was the most durable guy, he just had back surgery. So now you got to be like, whoa, like we got to protect our most important player. So you need 3 guys, and how you manage it and the risk of losing one could really affect your goalie depth.
Yeah, there was a report just a couple of minutes ago. It's not official, but a report from Anthony DeMarco that they're going to send Sandstrom to the Phantoms on a conditioning assignment.
Okay, so you can do that 2 weeks, and I think you get 2 of those.
You get 2 of those. Yeah, that's right.
So that's smart. Get him to go play some games, and Ersson can go down. He does not need waivers.
Oh, okay.
So I could be wrong on that, but I think I'm right on that. So he can go down, and I think you got to use that too. Yeah. Because the reality is you need him to be sure. So when Sandstrom returns, he'll have played 2 weeks down there, got some games. Now maybe he can come in and be the backup, and then you send Ersson down. He can play, get his game in order. Right. And the other thing too is like the October schedule typically is lighter than the other months, right? You kind of start. It's not every day. True. You're not going out like playing every other day like you do late in the season. So those stretches where you don't play are even longer for the guy that doesn't have the net. Yeah. But I hated being the third guy. That was the worst.
Yeah. That kind of happened to you in Arizona, right?
Yep.
And
then I got in because Zach Burke, who kind of took my spot, he hurt his hip or groin, and I wasn't even practicing with the team for over a month in Phoenix.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah.
Wow. Then you finally went in and were like, hey.
I finally went into Bobby Francis, and because I had the goalie, I was just me and the goalie coach and maybe like one shooter for a month. Jesus. And Pat Conacher, the assistant coach, he'd shoot on me too because I think he wanted to stay in shape. But when the team came out, I had to leave. I couldn't, like, goalies sit on the sideboards, maybe get a couple reps. No, they told me to get off. I was like,
Gretter? Says get off? Or?
Yeah. I was like, what did I do? I'm like, he's like, I literally wasn't part of the team. Oh. And so after a month, I finally, because I was trying to be respectful and, not be
accepting of it.
Yeah. And so I finally went into Bobby Francis's office. I said, why can't I practice with the team? And he's like, I was waiting for you to come through that door. No way. Turns out I was a goalie coach.
Yeah.
I remember was burying me.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
No shit, eh?
And this is the guy that, like, goalies trust their goalie coach. Like, it's
Right.
like, it's their guy. Like,
Yeah.
you get the team coaches, and then you got, you know how it is. We're alone.
100%.
And I thought this guy had my back, and it turns out he was suing me.
Wow.
Yeah. So I once I knew that, and I knew how the game was being played, then I dug in and I got real determined, and I ended up getting back, and that's when I had the shutout streak after that. Yeah.
Oh,
So
wow.
that was fun. That was fun
Funny
to
how it
just
works
shove
out,
it,
yeah.
shove it where it don't shine.
Yeah, right.
Suck on that.
Yeah. But then I thought I was like, then I thought I was the man, and it turns out it was only 5 good games.
Yeah.
Really
Settle
good
down,
game.
Boosh. Settle down.
Really good game.
It's a humbling game. You think you're on top of the world, and the next thing you know, it comes crashing down. But makes for a good story.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing.
How about your boy Smoking Joe Thornton retiring?
How about that?
Did he? Did he retire?
Is it 24 years? Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I saw that thing, and I was like, we got to
Hey,
ask Boosh.
everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Everybody.
I don't know what that was all about.
What a beauty.
Yeah.
What a guy,
Oh,
huh?
man, yeah,
He is
great guy.
all time.
Yeah.
All time.
Yeah.
I never met a person that loved the game as much as Joe.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, this guy loved being at the rink. He loved the guys. He loved everything about it. Like, this guy played, 21 minutes a night?
Yeah.
And if there was an off day or an optional, he was skating every day. He loved
Really?
being at the
Loved
rink.
today.
Loved putting his gear on. He loved everything about it. And it was infectious. And it's such a shame that he never won, because people that have that passion for the game,
Yeah.
like we've played with guys that they come to the rink and they hate it.
Yeah.
And yet they're talented. But then you get a guy like that who's talented, loves the game, loves everybody. He should have been rewarded with a Stanley Cup, and it never happened. But
I got
great career.
I got to know him a little bit over the last few years. Well, from the Olympics is when we were in 2010. So Mikey Aldridge, who is the San Jose head equipment guy, my good buddy, Jumbo's losing his mind because he wants Mikey to sharpen his skates. And we're at the Olympics. And Mikey's
country,
like, hey, I can't do your skates. Those guys know what they're doing over there. Like, don't worry. No. He's following us down the hallway. Mikey, come on, you can't do this to me. I just please. And he's like, I can't do your skate. I'm not gonna do your skates. And I'm like, fucking with Mike, I'm like, oh, it's Jumbo, man, it's your guy. And he's like, yeah, listen to Nasty, and he's like, I can't do it. He was losing. He was texting him every day. He was losing his mind. Then he ended up winning that gold anyway. But he was like, I'll get you guys a limo anywhere you want to go tonight, van. Like, bro, you can't really take a limo anywhere because all the streets are closed because everybody's walking. There's so many people in Vancouver. But what a good dude, man.
Yeah.
Like, just a great guy. His son always wanted Flyer hats, so I always took some Flyer hats out there and gave them to him because his son had something. He loved the Flyers.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a good dude, man.
Yeah. I used to tease him and tell him that I was the best athlete on the team. I was a backup goalie playing like 20 games. So I challenged him one year, the one year that I was there. I said, hey, let's do a decathlon. I go, let's do this. Let's see who really is a superior athlete, And I think we got through like 4 events or something like that. At one point, we were doing push-ups on the road in a hotel room to see who could do more push-ups. He was a better athlete. Yeah. I was trying to find a way to, get under his skin. I think we played ping pong too. We did a bunch. We never got to the 10 events, but he sent me a text the other day. He took a picture of his bicep, just random. I hadn't heard from him in a long time. I was on the plane, and it wasn't. When you get a text on a plane, it doesn't download yet.
Yeah.
So I have to wait till I land to see this thing. And there's a picture of his bicep, and then like 3 days later he retires. So
that's hilarious.
I said,
just the bicep.
Yeah, and he goes, "You know where to find me." Like, so I think he wants to pick up where we left off.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I'm nowhere near where I need to be to issue a challenge to anybody. I played tennis this morning with Hartsey.
Did you?
Hartnell, yeah.
How's his tennis game?
He's good.
Yeah, is he? Yeah.
I'm not. I'm a hack. Like, he's actually being nice by hitting the ball to me. Man, I was sucking wind.
Really? Yeah.
It's awful.
I think he gets a lot of reps with chemo. Was he not?
He's been playing.
Chemo's
Chemo's really good.
Yeah,
Chemo's really good.
Yeah.
Chemo's good at everything.
He is, yeah. He's
Like,
an all-around
literally, he
athlete.
can shoot basket. Like, he
Yeah.
shoots basketball like he's played basketball his whole
Just
life.
composed.
Soccer.
Yeah.
Golf.
He
Go
can
play
play.
with him golf. He's good at
Yeah.
golf. The guy's good at everything.
He has the right demeanor
He does, yeah.
for a lot of things.
Yeah.
Nothing really bothers his
Yeah.
nervous system at all.
He's a great
shows
shit
up.
talker because it's not like really shit. It's just like little things.
Yeah.
He'll say like little things. Ha, ha, ha. Yeah, you just laugh
I
at
beat
you.
you.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, that's exactly right.
love
Oh man, he's a good dude.
Yeah.
His heart's he getting you to work, moving around the court or what?
Oh yeah.
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 Corner to
I'm,
corner.
like I said, I'm a hack. I played as a kid, like in the neighborhood. Like I never taught how to play. You know what I mean? Just kind of ran balls down, and I wanted to get back into it. You know what I mean? Just because I don't really want to go for a run. I'd like to, but it's
Right.
hard to find people to play with. Like,
Right.
People, if they're too good,
Yeah,
then
Yeah,
they
that's
don't want to
true.
play with
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
So play with the wife once in a while, but then we can't play a game because she doesn't want to play for points, and I don't want to just like hit balls all day.
Yeah.
You know what I
Rally
mean?
back and forth for the next 45 minutes.
But she's not bad. She played in high school, but I just got to find that person. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm still searching. So if you guys play, let me know.
Nas, you seem like you'd be a good tennis player.
I played tennis.
You're a good athlete.
I
Nice
played
and light
tennis
on your
growing
feet.
up.
Yeah.
I played tennis. I used to play once in a while. We used to go over there to that place in Hadfield. Andreas Lilly was here, and Chemo, and
Oh yeah,
I think
that's
Hartsey
where
was
the,
there
the
too.
clay courts.
The
there.
indoor, yeah.
Green
well,
Valley.
they put a
Yeah, that's where we played today. Yeah.
So I used to go over there and play with those guys a little bit. Lils was good too. Lily
bet.
was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
I
those
can see that,
Europeans
yeah.
can
Yeah,
play.
yeah.
They're all good. Yeah, for sure.
Ask them to play wiffle ball. See what happens. That's a real sport.
Yeah, that is a real sport. We play over at Carter's all the time.
Wiffle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
got a great wiffle ball backyard.
What do you guys do? Use a chair for the strike zone?
They bought this thing. It's a strike zone. So if you hit it,
Oh yeah.
you hit it. It's a strike.
Yeah.
But they're throwing them 100 mile an hour. They're throwing as hard as you can.
Yeah.
They're not really throwing junk,
Yeah. No, that's.
but they're just fastballs coming in. But hit a few home runs. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
because you're an athlete.
Well, I mean, we did win the last game.
Yeah.
We played there. Yeah. I almost killed myself. And Chef Greg, you know Chef Greg, for the Flyers. Do
Oh
you know
yeah,
Chef
yeah,
Greg?
yeah, yeah.
He took one swing. He had sandals on, and the ground was wet, and he was about this high off the ground and fell on his back,
Did
and
he?
he was done. Yeah, he's like,
He's
I'm
done, yeah.
He goes, what do you say? I'm gone.
I'm going.
Yeah, but you're right. That is a real sport, wiffle ball. I'm
You
not
get into
sure.
pickleball at all?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. I like it.
Yeah.
I like pickleball.
Obviously less movement.
Less movement. It's kind of like glorified ping pong.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
A little bit more movement. But I don't want to go there yet. Like I mean, come on. I mean, I'm 46.
Yeah.
yeah, I know. It does
little
look
more
fun though.
It does.
It does look fun, but I haven't. even
Wasn't
played.
Homer like? I think
Yeah,
he's-
Homer plays.
He's starting like some. They were trying to get like some like league going. I think.
Oh, jeez, I'd be
An
afraid
alumni
to play
league
him in
going.
that.
Yeah.
Remember when we played racquetball, Homer?
Oh my God. That guy meant business.
Dude, and he leaks. He sweats so bad. You're flipping and
He
falling.
sets picks.
Yeah.
Racquetball.
What are you gonna do about it?
Yeah, exactly. You gotta just go walk around him.
I remember when we were talking about basketball. We were playing out there the one day, and Brad Smith, B-Rad,
Yeah.
our good buddy, he never played basketball a day in his life. He played football in high school, but
Yeah.
just pretty reckless.
Yeah.
But played hard.
Yeah.
So he's D'ing up, and his arms are like coming down, hitting Homer in the
Fouls.
head.
There are fouls.
And Homer like isn't really saying anything. You know, we kind of called a couple of fouls for him, and then a few minutes later, Brad jumped up. He faked, and Brad jumped up and he came down and he hammered Homer on the head. And Homer just like real quietly turned and goes, "Brad, if you do that again, I'm not real sure what's gonna happen." Just like that. And B-Rad goes, "I quit. I don't know what I'm doing, man." Quit. We all started
Wanna
laughing 'cause
preserve his life
He
a little
just
bit?
said it real quiet. B-Rad, if you do that again, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Oh,
And we
man.
were just all
So good.
dying, man. But yeah, Homer's an intense.
Don't mess with Homer. He chased me down in a shower one time. Because
Frankie did.
my agent was calling because lack of play. You know what agents do, right? You know,
Yeah.
they kind of. And we played Atlanta at home, and I stunk. I think we lost in overtime, and Homer was right as I'm going in the shower. He came in and he chased me down. You know, like, yeah, listen, effing agent, call me, blah, blah, blah. And he followed me in the shower. I was like, oh my God.
We shower together.
I was like, just let me shower up here. I was like, grab a towel here. And he just absolutely gave it to me. And I was like, oh man. But it was warranted. You know, he's one of those guys. I hated when I disappointed him because he was so good to me. I don't even know if he knows he was good to me, but like he brought me back here how many times?
Yeah,
right.
I mean, I'm so appreciative of that. So when you played like shit and let him down, you're like, man, I feel awful.
Yeah,
you know.
Right.
So he could chase me down anywhere.
Yeah,
if I deserved it.
We were talking about your rookie team with not the Phantoms, but with the Flyers the year you guys on a roll, and looking at that team, like you had Rex, Chief, Talk, like guys that are coaching now in the game. Now Jonesy's president.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild to see that, and you guys were right there. I thought you were gonna do it. I remember that's where obviously Big E. Yeah. There was questions like, are they gonna? I think a lot of the players were like, let us keep it here.
Yeah.
Like where we are.
Oh, we had Whitey.
Peter
White
was playing a
and
little
Mark
bit.
Gregg. Yeah, in place of Big E, not in his place, but like lower in the lineup. Yeah, man. I always think about that. I know we lost in 2010 to Chicago, and we're in the finals, but that team felt like the team that was destined to win. Yeah, it really did. And I feel like if we got by Jersey, we would have won. But you wonder what if. I mean, so many great players. That was a magical year. I mean, as a kid growing up, like I watched a lot of those guys I played with. Right. It was surreal. I mean, to be playing with Eric Desjardins, John. I was a huge Canadiens fan, so like John LeClaire and Eric Desjardins, I was like, oh my God, like I really looked up to these guys, and now they're my teammates, and they're nice to me. Yeah, you know what I mean. They play hard for me, and oh my God, we're gonna win a Stanley Cup. Like it was amazing, and then to fall short, it was too bad. Yeah, that's when that to me, that's what this has to get back to here in Philly. Yeah. I know the Phillies are doing great and the Eagles are popular right now, but like there's a hungry fan base here, like a Flyer fan base that Jonesy and Danny and Dan Hilferty, they're trying to they want to get that feeling back here. Yeah. And I'm excited for it. I mean, I know the game's different. It's not the same. And it'll never be the same. Like the game evolves, but that feeling that we all experienced playing here, springtime. Yeah, it's unreal. It's unreal. That's what's coming back, and when it does, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, for sure. That was a really good team. I mean, Christ, you were on two really good teams, obviously here in Philly that year, and the year you talked about.
Imagine the money I would have made if we would have won 2 Stanley Cups.
Oh boy, I wish we would have.
Still playing.
He's still playing. Speaking of, are you playing in the Alumni Game?
I am.
Yes.
This Marshy.
Hounding you down.
I'll tell you what. This is how the phone call goes. Hey, Boosh, Rexy, you play with Rexy, makes you feel bad there, right? He's like, he's getting inducted in the Hall of Fame, blah, blah, blah. And then he goes, we need a goalie. Silence. Silence. Who wins the silence game? And I go, Marshy. And he goes, silence. So I go, all right, I'll do it. And he outweighted me. And I'm like, and then after I'm like, I swore to God that I would never play again. Last year I played in the Hall of Fame game in Toronto. I don't know how I got roped into doing that. And I was like, it might be good. I'll put the gear back on. I'll break a sweat. And so for 2 months I practiced. When I was back home in Rhode Island, my old high school, they got like an academy now. I was practicing with the U18 team. These kids were ripping and by me left, right, and central. But I was, I was getting back into it. Yeah. The hips were feeling good. I was like, okay, I'm going to do good at this Hall of Fame. I gave up 5 goals in the first period, and Lanny McDonald pulled me.
Come on.
In a Hall of Fame game.
Come on.
Yeah.
Pulled you?
He pulled me.
You had 2 goalies?
It was like a university kid.
Oh my God.
And he's like,
Lanny.
Yeah, he's like, and God damn it, Boosh, can you make a save? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, I'm not really sure if I can. I thought I felt pretty good coming in here. And so he, and then I looked at the kid, and I said to the kid, I go, you want to play? He's like, yeah. I was like, go in there. Yeah, go in there. So I was like, it was fine. But I was like, man, I will not play again. And then I got roped in because Marshy asked me, and it was just like silence, and I caved.
Should have said I know a guy or two.
Well, he said that Chico was playing, and I was like, okay. But Chico's going to come in. He'll be great. Like, I just know it. He's just one of the...
Last time we saw him, he looked pretty good. When did we see him play? I thought he looked good. He came and played in something.
He's like a freak like... He's a freak like that. You know?
I
Maybe
definitely
quietly.
saw him play in something. I thought it was that
I
game
don't
where
think
you
he played in
scored
that
right
game.
away. He
No,
didn't play in that
Litz
game?
played, and
Oh, McKenna played.
that's right.
Where did I
Where
see
game was
Eshy?
that? There
I
was
saw
a-
Eshy do something.
Was it 2 years ago? That
Maybe.
is an alumni game.
Yeah, maybe
The Wells
that
Fargo
was,
Center.
McKenna looks like he probably is still playing.
Well, he was on last week with us. I mean, he looks like he's in shape, but I don't know if he's.
Didn't
doing
sound like he was
anything.
playing.
Yeah, I don't know if he's doing anything.
That's just like that's one of the positions where like I like going out and playing and skating.
Yeah.
But I do not want.
You don't want to get puck shot at you.
It's a lot of work to get back up. And,
Yeah. And then guys scoring and they feel great about them. It's like I haven't played.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's 13
The
years
pride
now.
gets.
I sucked when I played, and now I definitely suck. You know what I mean? Like it's not an accomplishment for you to score on me, but yeah, it's humbling. It's a humbling position.
Yeah.
Way
looking
more fun
forward
to
to
try
that.
and score.
It'll be a fun game.
Yeah.
I'm playing too, so it'll be Liney's.
You guys on the same.
Be afraid to block a shot or two.
Yeah,
Good
right.
sticks,
Lay
right?
down there.
Who do you think
Lay it
Boston's
down.
gonna have?
What's that?
Is Patrice gonna play?
Probably.
You think so? Yeah, I guess he would. Why wouldn't he? Right?
Played with Rex, right? Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Krejci's he gonna play? Oh,
Might have
my
a pretty
God.
strong lineup.
They bring him back.
You gotta
Where
bring-
he's like, oh god, not again, not these
the
guys.
one that we played against Pittsburgh, right? It was a 50th anniversary game.
Yeah.
Was it Tyler Kennedy?
Yeah.
Oh,
look
yeah.
out.
Yeah, he
Flying
just
around.
retired. He was flying. I'm like, buddy.
Dude, you just retired.
Yeah, I'm like, settle down. Like, you're not getting a contract out of this game. He was super hungry.
He was buzzing.
Yeah,
I remember that.
I like when 2-9er had the puck on his stick, Phil Bork. I was like, that's more the speed we need here.
Yeah.
More of that. More of those Gretzky Jofa helmets and
Yeah, right.
Tyler
Slow it
Kennedy
down.
buzzing.
Yeah.
A few years ago, they had that Detroit was playing Toronto out in the outdoor game, and Gary Roberts and who's the little fucking blonde forward there for Detroit forever. They almost literally got in a fight. Like it got
Remember
really.
that.
I can't remember. I just saw a post the other day about it. It was pretty good.
Draper?
Draper. It was
Oh,
him and
right,
Draper.
yeah.
Yeah, sorry. It was him and Draper were like
I could see that.
sticking each other, whacking each other. They had to come in. Whoa, boy.
Yeah, they probably had some.
And then Joey Koster showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was Joey Mullen there when Lanny was he there that weekend?
No.
No, he wasn't. Okay, I didn't know, just because of the
I
whole
thought you were
thing.
gonna try.
Well,
to
no.
That's what I thought too.
I thought that's
We're
where
not talking
you're
about the power play with Hotsy and Cotsy.
Hotsy and
Gee.
where's G?
Joey loves that
Yogs,
too.
Yogs.
Yogs drove him nuts. He would tell him what to do, and he'd walk out, and then Yogs would be like, no, boys, we do this. We do this. Guys were like, what? Oh, Joey.
Power play was humming though in those days, right?
Yeah, man. Every
with
year.
Joey. What is
Every
Joey doing these days?
Man, we had him on, a little over a year ago. And he plays hockey and plays golf.
Yeah. He's coaching
up
that three
Well, he did
ice
that
thing.
3 ice in the
Threw it-
summer.
Oh, yeah.
3 ice
He
in the
did do
summer.
that.
Other than
That's
that,
right.
I think
He was
he's
a
just
good guy.
enjoying.
Yeah,
I
great
like Joey.
guy.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
He's a fun guy.
Oh, guy's a Hall of Famer. I just remember we'd always give him shit. He's in there cleaning up after the other coaches. I'm like, Joey.
Yeah,
like, I
no
got
ego
it.
at all,
No,
eh?
zero.
None.
Zero.
And he was great, like a great assistant coach
Oh,
because like,
perfect.
he'd shoot the shit with you, and he was a good guy, and he, like
Yeah.
you said, no
Talk about a
ego.
guy that loves hockey.
Yeah.
Just every day. Wanted
was
to
awesome.
skate. We had to go out there and be like, we got to eat lunch. You
Yeah.
know, he had to exercise because they wanted to play.
Oh, the two-pass
the
games? There's
two-pass
plenty of
game,
those
and
games.
This
Yeah, he
guy was
loved that,
just
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
leaking, playing so hard. He played on a men's league team there one year, Boosh, and it was funny because every period, like, guys would be like, well, can we play with him? So we literally changed the line every period so guys could play with Joey because they loved him so, and he was fucking still good, too.
Yeah.
Like, really good men's league. Some guy doesn't show up for men's league games
You know?
on his team. No.
Oh, I try, but it's an hour and a
Oh,
half,
here we
and,
go. It's an hour.
and it's like 9 p.m.
He's on the
9:30
roster,
p.m.
boo. It is not at 9 p.m. We play at 5 o'clock.
Wow.
Wow.
You guys still play right now?
Yeah, but he didn't show again, and we lost last
Well,
weekend.
my gear is back. In
You
Rhode
ready?
Island. Yeah.
Do you want to come join us?
I used to play
you want
like
to play forward, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I don't have my. I got to go back to Rhode Island and get my gear.
What's your gear look like? What color would it be?
It's all over the place.
Men's
Playing
league,
against sports
men's
guy?
league, You
Yeah.
got the red pants, blue.
Still, my son had like USA colored gloves, so I stole those. I think I got blue like light blue pants from my buddy Brian Boucher from the Toronto Maple Leafs and stuff. So I kind of look like I can play.
Yeah.
And then I can't. Like the play dies when the puck gets on my stick.
Yeah.
You're
all this hype, and then it's like,
Yeah, they're like, oh, he kind of looks like he might play, but.
I remember Litz coming out and playing a few times with us. Like, obviously not goalie. He wanted to skate out. He had the Jofa helmet on. I don't know where he got it. And this guy just cruised the far blue line waiting. Like, just wait. We're like, dude, what are you doing, man? And, just barely moving his feet. Just going back and forth. I'm like,
even if he got it, he's got no breakaway speed.
Nah.
Like, get it?
Get caught,
when catches him.
That's what happens to me, too, yeah. And then I think I can make a play, and you guys hate playing with me.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
Are you going to pull out a Brooksy question for Torts at some point?
For Torts?
Yeah, just to get him fired up about something.
Post-game loss.
I'm kidding. No, we were talking about that the other day.
Yeah.
You don't want to get him going.
Did you see that one last year when I was doing ESPN? And we had to do like the interview from upstairs, and he grabs the headset, and I asked him, and he gave me he goes, "We stink as of right now." Like in the morning when we talked to him, he was like amazing. Like he used to work at ESPN with us.
Right.
And I worked with him at NHL Network, and it was all good. And then he like just snapped, and but it made for good television. It was actually good. I said, "Okay, thank you, coach." You know what I mean?
Thank you.
So after I saw him, and he was like, I said, "It's all good, man. It's like I don't care." You know what I mean? But the one thing about interviews, man, I get nervous. Because the one thing I learned is you don't want to ask a yes or no question because you could get a one-word answer.
Yeah,
so you got to make sure you're asking. It's got to be a descriptive answer. Explain or how or why or you know what I mean. That they can describe. So that's something that I still, Daryl Sutter was a guy that I'd get worked up, and so if the score got to like 2-3-0, I'd say to my producer, I was like, "Hey, can we guess the interview? Like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to go on the bench, and have him, chop my head off."
Yeah, right.
That was one thing I was gonna say. Like you had a little bit of time in Calgary with him.
Yeah.
I remember you doing a couple impressions of him because Chief would do it too. Like,
hey, hard, assertive. He was tough. Like it's funny because now, so Calgary, right? Okay, if we talk around the league, the players didn't like Darryl, right? So they got him, and probably in some cases, with the way the game is now and the way coaches, the way players need to be coached. Yeah, maybe it is a little bit old school.
Yeah.
But look how they're performing right now.
Yeah,
it seems to me like they've got no identity.
Right.
They don't have any players to me that stand out as like alpha dogs,
Right.
So now they don't have Darryl back there who's, getting them ready, getting them all fired up and pushing the buttons. So you need guys inside the room like that are leaders.
Right.
Guys that are going to take charge,
Yeah.
And to me, they don't have any alpha males. It just looks like a bunch of nice guys.
Yeah.
And nice guys that go out there and, they lack competitive nature. And the results are what they are. Like that game, that Heritage Classic game on Sunday, I thought Edmonton was awesome. I think that was like a turning point game for them because they responded.
Yeah.
Right? McDavid coming back in the lineup. But you could see Evander Kane was running guys. And that was a really good game. Aside from Markstrom, I look at that team and I'm like, I don't see anything there.
Yeah.
They're not a playoff team as of right now unless something changes.
Right.
Kadri's a guy to me that should play that way, but I don't know if he's an alpha dog like,
Yeah. I know.
It'll be interesting to see how that plays out, but that's what happens. Players didn't want Darryl, and now they've got a guy that to me it looks like they're just kind of like they're what's the word I'm looking for? They're taking advantage of the coach,
right?
In my opinion,
right.
Like Ryan Huska probably seems like a nice guy. He was an assistant there before, and you know how that is. The assistants are usually nice. And well, those guys, it's up to them, in the room to. Don't make this guy look bad.
Right.
Go out there and do a job.
Yeah.
If you didn't want the other guy here, pick it up.
Because you're essentially the reason that guy's gone.
Right.
So you better.
And I think in a lot of ways, Darryl had a great career.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
There is a time when I'm not suggesting that he should still be there because I think we all know that the game has evolved. But those guys inside that room got to find it inside themselves to pick it up.
Yeah.
That's
our Chief told us some great Darryl stories and Johnny told us one about Green having a tough night. The one night, D-man, big right-hander. And he says he goes out there, he's chopping it up, and just having a tough time. So he says by the end of the third period, he's like, first period, Greener comes off to change, and Daryl fucking pitchforks a stick down there. It's a lefty. He goes, try that one. Johnny goes, it almost hits me in the face. And then he gets it, and he's like looking. He goes, tell Greener to try that one. It's a lefty.
Oh, man.
But Chief told me a lot of stuff. I think Chief gets a lot of his little one-liners from his Daryl time because he's pretty witty too. Schenner was always like texting me, "You should have heard your boy tonight. He had some good ones." But when you played here, did you play when you were with the Phantoms when Chief was coaching? Was Lars Johnson here?
Yeah, lefty.
Yeah,
big shot.
Lars
had shoulder issues, right?
Yeah. You remember when you had to walk in? Chief's the first thing you see his office. So I'm down there having a coffee with him. I came down from the other end, and I may have told this on here before, but it just never laughed so hard. Lars walks in, looks a little hung.
Yeah.
He's got
slow at the dip.
Yeah. So he walks in. He's like, "Morning, nasty Chief," and he walks by, and Chief goes, "Hey, Lars," and I'm like, oh, no, it's going to see you. So Lars comes back, kind of sticks his head in the door. He goes, yeah. He goes, I was thinking. And he was like, what were you thinking? He goes, oh, you should quit hockey because you're terrible. Like that. And Lars starts laughing. He goes, all right, Chief. He walked away.
Couldn't be bothered, Lars?
Didn't give a fuck. Well, I think he knew Chief, like his sense of humor. But he goes, oh, you should quit. He told him. He used to tell Ben Eager, Eags, just leave your stick on the bench. You don't need it.
You don't need it.
You don't need it.
I used to love when I play with Chief. Him and Jonesy, big one-liners, left, right, and central.
Yeah.
Right. But when OT would start, Chief would start undoing his sock tape. Right. He's like, well, I don't need this. He untying his skates. I'm done.
I love when he. Boys, 24 beers, not even buzzed. Oh, no, you were shit-faced. Trust me. You just don't remember. But, yeah, he used to tell us some Daryl stories. I thought they were funny, man.
Oh, yeah.
What a character.
Yeah, for sure. But, Boosh, so happy to have you back.
Thanks, man.
Philly.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Do a great job, obviously. And just best of luck this year. Hopefully the boys keep playing the way they're playing. I mean, I think,
just be competitive.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like, I don't think anybody's expecting Stanley Cup right now. I mean, let's be realistic. Just compete. I think that's what fans want.
Yeah, for sure. So, Debo, you good with that?
Are you?
I am. Thanks, bro.
All right,
Appreciate you, boo.
Great to be here.
A big thank you to Boosh, Brian Boucher, for hopping on.
Yes.
A beauty.
Love this guy.
Finally got him in the stew.
I know. We needed him here. Hear all of his wisdom.
Yeah.
Which he gave. No, we appreciate him coming on, man. And busy schedule right now.
Oh, my gosh.
Nice to have him back in the area, too.
I know.
Living here.
Solid dude, good energy. Great for Flyers hockey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does a really good job. Busy man, though.
Yeah, I'm kidding. Appreciate you, Boosh. It's that time, Nast.
Is it that time?
Oh, you know it.
Time for Clear Questions, brought to you by Clear Rum. Go to clearrum.com. Nasty 2023 for 35% off. Whew. You got to do it. PA only. And, boys, we need a little refresher here. A little sprinkle of the infield. Yeah, so let's get on that.
You got to lay off it, Nast. You're getting a little excited.
It's too good. It's too good. Baller, what do you got?
We got one from Anthony Giampalo over on Twitter, and he would like to know who put the most money on the board that you can remember.
Wow,
Ooh.
Good question, man. I
can't even remember.
Oh boy, I really got to think about that one. Trying to think. The most I ever saw, I want to say it was. I can't remember. It was $5,000, but then it was like $2,000 for the trainers, and then a team dinner. Who the hell was that? I remember thinking, "Wow, that's a good amount of money." Someone would say it might have been G because he signed his deal. I think it was G.
Okay.
He put a good chunk up there. That's who it was because he had signed that deal. That's what it was.
Yeah,
that's the only I can remember. It ended up being about almost 10 grand worth of with dinner, team dinner,
Right.
The 5G, and then I think it was like 2 for the trainers.
Just a half a day's work. No big deal.
It was like half of his paycheck that day.
Yeah.
So I told him. Yeah, that's a great question, though, because I should remember quicker about something like that, but there was so many times where guys would throw quite a bit of change up there. And you're always hoping when you see the old TR beside it, which meant trainers, that we won. Come on, boys. We were a little more fired up than normal.
A little more energy.
Yeah, but I think it was G when he signed that deal.
Did you guys win that night?
That's a great question, too. I don't know.
I
really don't know. Honestly, I can't remember. But we'll have to find out. G will remember.
Yeah, he probably will.
Little hit.
Check his bank account.
Yeah.
Check his transactions.
Right? Oh, good question.
Yeah,
though.
it is.
We got another one from Dr. Brizgalov over on Twitter. He wants to know, out of all the Flyers players, who had the best hoopty?
Hoopty? Carr? Debo's got a hoopty out there, man. I thought he's bouncing when you come in. That's sick, dude. I don't know how you get to do that, but do you, Rouse, or are you getting your brakes fixed?
Well, just the front two. Not all 4.
So best car? I think my favorite, one of my favorite cars would probably be the last car Claude Giroux had when he was here, is a blacked out Bentley. It was so sick. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he pulled in and I'm like, are you serious? He's like, what, this whole thing? Yeah. That was one of my favorite cars. Yeah.
Well, Razor had the Lambo as well as Brash. Had the yellow.
Yeah, he had the yellow one.
Yellow Lambo. It was pretty rad. But there's other pretty nice cars around.
Yeah, I forgot about Razor's Lambo, and the top was usually down.
Yeah.
And the football was in the back seat with about 10G in it.
Yeah,
just leave it sitting there.
No big deal.
Not big deal. Saw him lose it a couple times, but for me it was that, I think G's, I think was sick, the Bentley. Yeah, I think he still has it, but maybe he'll let me borrow it right around town.
Why not?
I'll ask him.
Let's do it.
Deeps, can I drive yours? Oh, no, you're right. Yours is red, though. Anyway.
Red Bentley?
Yeah. Good question. No, I got to go with G's Bentley. You going with Razor?
I think so.
Okay.
Speaking of G, did you see that clip of him and Sid?
Oh, yeah.
Got some numbers on our
Twitter
account.
We're mucking it up a little bit. We're going back to the old days.
Oh, yeah.
Because they've been teammates since, and they're buddies.
I thought they were smoking the peace pipe until the face-off, and then, oops.
G must have said something.
He did. He's
did
good.
You see my percentage this year in face-offs? He might have thrown something at Sid like that. Yeah. We have to ask Sid when we see him.
Yeah.
And G.
And that's a wrap, Nast.
That's a wrap, brother.
132 in the books. Can you believe it?
I cannot. Philadelphia Warriors, our good friends, are having a gala. Ooh. I hope I'm saying that right.
Gala.
The gala. It's a Warrior gala. It's their first ever military gala on the Battleship, New Jersey.
Ooh.
And it's open to everyone. Like, anyone can buy a ticket for it. It's November 11th, and it's black tie.
Ooh.
So I can't wait to see you with your hair slicked back, hopefully trim that beard.
Yeah.
Yes. They
2 weeks of growth.
They said it's mandatory.
2 weeks of growth. Perfect.
Starts at 6 p.m. And to purchase tickets, go to flyerswarriors.com. Click on the link, and also you can go to Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter and click on the link there.
Beautiful.
But again, it's November 11th. Our good friends, the Philadelphia Warriors, man, they're growing. What do they got, about 8 teams now?
Right,
We're going to have to become coaches. They're going to need some help.
We're going to need
They got so many teams. But they're our good friends. Duff, Dev, Faust, all the boys. All 80.
All 80 of them.
There's a lot, but it's going to be a great event.
Yeah.
And if you can get there. It's going to be a pretty cool thing.
Hope to see you there, Nast.
I'll be there. Black tie.
Black tie.
Mm-hmm.
NK hat.
I probably won't have a hat on. But
all right, we'll see you guys there.
Yep. Sounds good.
All right, that's a wrap, Nast. Until next week for episode 133. Be sure to subscribe, check us out, comment, ask questions. Until then, stay safe, knuckleheads.
See ya.